I'm a little stressed. This is a day of failures. The culmination of months worth of failures adding up to one day, a great big failure. Right, so this is currently the fourth time I've pressed record on this video. For one reason or another, I keep messing it up. I was doing rather well on the third one, and then accidentally I'm talking away and I realised I've stopped it. Right, anyway, so failures number one, this. I've been beavering away at this for 3 years now. It's had various different incarnations. It's been an all-independent buggy, one of those. It's been an all-independent monster truck based on an Emax, one of those. It's now a solid axle truck. This chassis is from that. That is now an independent Emax, which yeah, they're both exactly the same size, so I can swap chassis between them. So I thought I were on a winner. Whatever I did for this, I could do for that, but they're both losing at the moment. Anyway, I'll come to that debacle in a moment. Right, so why is this a loss? Basically, I've tried every shocker and wheel combination I know. None of them are working. I've had it as with the slightly big. I did the wheel swaps. This was a wheel size. I thought this looks awesome on this truck. It looks like they were meant to be, but I needed to get the ride height. I needed to get the wheel about here. So in real terms, it's basically got like a 2-inch lift, just slightly lifted, or slammed, and so like an off-road with big wheels like that one. I didn't manage to get any of those. Now, originally, it was, when I first made this body, before I proper prepped and painted it, it was on an extended one of these. This is a Thunder Tiger Tomahawk Nitro buggy. It looks like a complicated buggy for modding, but it's actually a very simple design. As long as you've made the chassis plate longer, you've literally just 3 screws holding that end on, 3 screws holding that end on, and then another 4 screws holding the steering. Everything else you can put wherever the hell you want, in whatever configuration you want. It's just a flat chassis plate, so you can put whatever gearbox in it, whatever. It's just a matter of drilling holes and making the drive shaft a little longer, which is not as easy as I make it sound, but I've been doing it long enough now that I can pretty much make them out of anything. I have loads of aluminium tubing and plastic tubing. Yeah, so it sat nice. It sat exactly the right height I wanted. But I thought, no, I want it to be solid axle. I want to go crawling with it. Put these plastic tyres on and go drifting with it. I'm like, yes, it was a lofty ideal. It hasn't worked. It just has not worked. I should have stuck with that. But it's quite... The chassis was designed to hold the weight of a 1/10 buggy. I mean, by buggy standards, it's actually quite small. It's actually not much bigger. It's no bigger than a Blackfoot, which is only 112, so you work that out. So yeah, let me just get rid of that because this truck wants to fall over with that on the top. Right, now it has built-in like hex extenders, which you can get in different sizes. That's the medium one. There's a longer one and a shorter one that's about the same size as a standard hex, so you can put normal wheels on it. So it's perfect because you can have it any width you want, any length you want, and it's fast if you use the original gearing. Yeah. So anyway, back to this. So it's now currently at full compression, and it's still. I was hoping to get it lower. I think I'm gonna have to go shorter because this is what I had originally. They ride about the same height as these. I've got some shorter ones, but as you can see, there's not going to be much suspension travel. So I don't know. I'm setting it up as a road truck then, and got these big solid axles, and it's not going to be getting to off road. So I don't know. So I'm gonna not bin it. I'm gonna bench this. Bin it. Maybe that's my subconscious coming out there. I'm gonna bench it for the minute, and maybe when the summer comes around, I manage to make myself a fiberglass version of this. I'll come back to it because then the floor pan is exactly as it is. I can't really do anything with it without redoing it fully. So if I'm redoing a new one out of fiberglass, that will be the time to make any changes to it. So for now, this is done. the chassis is fantastic. The chassis works. I mean, as you can see, it's got quite some articulation at the moment. The chassis works. It's good. When I had it out as the monster truck, it hauled ass. It went over stuff. It pushed things around. It's got the power. It's got the strength. The main issue with it is I made my own chassis rails, and they're not straight and they're not even, and the rest is just tweaking. And I managed to finally get the axles straight and in line with each other. So I'd have to remake all of these now because they're all stretched out. There's only like 4 threads in here, so it's not as tough as it could be. So I think I'm going to give this some space. I mean, I literally threw it in the shed last year, thinking just get out of my sight. I just dumped it in the corner and left it there in the cold and the winter months, and it's not done it any favours. But yeah, now I'll come to its sibling in a moment. Right, now this is a puppy that was responsible for ruining the last video. I'm sure this thing has a mind of its own. Right, now this is basically an Emax underneath. Literally all I did was shorten the arms. I have one here to show you. Right, this is my faithful original Emax. It was built bit by bit, using all the parts that go with the model. It's the latest one, the longest one. The suspension on this is just so sweet, so plush. Right, what we're going to show you is these parts here. All I did was shorten those to about there. Top and bottom, exactly the same amount. And I made new links, but shortened by exactly the same amount. So, as you can see, as the suspension goes down, it just goes up and down. You get a little bit of camber change, but no toe in, no toe out. It's exactly as I want it to be. This one, on the other hand, no such luck. As you can see, both front and back, toe in and out like crazy on compression. So I'm not even going to finish this. I mean, it'd probably go like crazy if I got a decent motor in it. Got plastic tyres on it so it could drift. I could put some off-roaded tyres on it. It's about perfect ride height. But like I say, that wheel turning, I can't get past it. So don't know what I'm going to do with this. Now I've got these down to see how they're set up, because there is no reason why this, in my mind, there is no reason why this is doing this. None at all. So we'll see. Right, so I'll put this on the floor. Now, I dug this out of the shed today. So yes, I have 3 Emaxes. Weirdly, I have 3 of the Thunder Tigers. Because, I don't know if I've covered it before, but that's basically the buggy I showed you earlier. When Team Associated brought out the Pro-Rella, they'd bought Thunder Tiger, or Thunder Tiger bought Team Associated, one or the other. And they cannibalised the buggy, which was also the Mini Clubman 1/8, 1/5 if you remember. They used all the same 110 running gear. And it was very weak and it broke a lot and they discontinued it. But it's basically a Thunder Tiger Tomahawk XL. So it's basically that. The Sparrowhawk was the electric one. Right, so my Emaxes. This one is pretty much as Traxxas intended it. I've not really done any modifications to it whatsoever, other than through various mods to other vehicles. I've had to jerry-rig a drive shaft, but other than that, and the totally mullered aluminium skid plate, it's supposed to come out from there. It's supposed to protrude in front of the bumper, but hey, yeah, this thing is just, it's just beautiful to drive. And if you're going at any great speed and brake, it just rolls forward, does a full somersault back on its wheels. Yes, that's a Titan 775 in there. I'm not going to take the lid off because I can't be bothered. There was just a little bit of trimming on the gearbox to replace the twin 550s. And that's golden. Now this one, this is sort of, I'm not really sure where this one came from. I think it's a culmination of all the bits left over from other trucks that I've eventually sort of turned into a truck. I don't even know where I got the body from, but it is an Emax body. Well, I say it's an Emax body, but it could actually be a Tamiya TXT1 body. They were very, very similar, the body style, so it could actually be either one. The shocks I mentioned earlier, this is where they ended up. I put them on this. It didn't have any hexes, so I managed to scrounge up some hexes for it. And the front suspension is broken where I've fixed it with a bit of aluminium and steering catches, so I have some spare arms, some short ones and some long ones, so I'm hoping I've got enough of one of those to fix this. All that needs is a motor, a steering servo and the drive shaft and the gearbox. I have a gearbox for it. It's an old nitro gearbox, I don't know if it's and these are from the yellow one. They're not long enough, so the wheel, I've got a bit of toe out on the back, but that, I don't know what to do with that, peeps. I've got that body shell for it. I thought I'd stopped it again and had a moment. Got that body shell for it, or I have a Dodge Ram body shell for it, which was painted yellow. I went to a model shop local to me, I'm mentioning no names. They sold me a tin of paint on the assurance it was good for polycarbonate. As you can see, with very little effort, it came off. I took it out on a cold day. Now, I know that's never good for paint, and I'm not saying my painting skills have nothing to do with it. It probably wasn't painted very well, but it should have stuck. By the time I got it back, a third of the paint had come off, and all I did was run it around my little garden. You've seen it. It did 4 circles around the garden and all the paint came off. I dumped it in a bowl of cold water and a scrubbing brush, and that's the only bit that stuck. For some reason, that stuck. I did the scrubbing with the detergent. I've painted dozens of these. I painted that, and it's had dozens and dozens and dozens of bashes and clatters, and it's never stripped any paint off. So there you go. Yeah, so what do you think? Dodge Ram, or it looks sort of Ford-ish. I'm going to say it's a Ford. I think it's, yeah, I think it's an Emax one because it's got the bumper cutouts, look, which match perfectly. Yeah, so that's a truck coming at some point. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I don't know what wheels it will have on, but it doesn't need very much to finish that. So the gearbox is in a box upstairs somewhere. When I find a gearbox, I'm going to mount it, put some drive shafts on it. I don't know if it's a forward only, like you need to do with a nitro, with a T-Max gearbox. We'll see when I fitted it. Well, I'm sure if I look long enough, I'll find the electric conversion for it, or an Emax gearbox. Right, so that's that. Right, what's next? I'm going to bring you over here, and so yes, what do I do with it? And do you know what? You know when you stand stuff and then just go, oh my god, I need to do that. They're just Stampede wheels with thin tyres on. This is a Proline GMC Top Kick body. They're rare now. I bought it to go on the Emax, but I've got this thing about there being a gap between the body and the chassis. So when I went to mount it, I thought I can't mount it flush because of the short stubby nose. The body post would have come out the windscreen, so I never fitted it, and it's been knocking around in the loft and the shed. Don't you think it looks like an old prep dragster? Like that, with the little chassis sticking out. Right, now, so let's lift that over here. This body shell is my first cut and shut, my first sort of foray into messing with hard shells. It used to be a 4-door crew cab. I sort of wish I'd have left it in one piece, but there you go. I have the little posts. It looks like an extra cab. Now I've been sort of repairing it with super glue and bicarb soda, and the coldest in it. Funny about it, looks right. Anyway, so I plan on refurbing that, and this chassis, I think, was, when I said I had a project for it on the last video, it was going under the Beetle shell, but I think I'm going to leave that Emax alone. So this chassis is now going to go under this Ford shell. I'm going to alter the length of the chassis rails. In fact, I'm not. I'm going to use this. Yeah. I'm going to use this. I cut this to extend it to use under that truck over there. That truck. But I think I'm going to make the chassis for this out of that. And make that a crawler. Make that actual working crawler. Because the gearbox and the drive shafts and the axles are all working. Literally all I need to do is... keep doing it. Literally all I need to do is wire up the steering servo. And it's good to go. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Many fails. Some wins, some fails. This, I extended. I have one of these upstairs where it's two of these bolted together. And I fit an Emax under this. And it was one of the best trucks I've ever driven. Because the body's heavy, but for the size of the truck, all the weight was low down, because an Emax is low down when you make it longer. That chassis was what was under here. It had a crash with a Losi 5. They're big. They're 5th scale. They're like the full size of this table. And it got totally up. And I thought to myself, I'm done with that. And I got a proper chassis for it, and I made it that. And it stayed that ever since. Because it's just so much fun. I've just, you know you've got it right when you don't feel the need to change it. You've left it alone. So I'm leaving that alone. I'm gonna get some new wheels for it. I want to get some Sandscorcher style wheels for it. Some thinner ones on the front and thicker ones on the back, so it looks like a Sandscorcher on steroids. So yeah, that's it. I mean, we're on 17 minutes now. So yeah, that's where we're at. I don't know what to do with the shells I've got lying around. I've got 2 slash shells knocking about. That buggy that I'm now going to put under the Excursion was going to be a slash sized, because that is basically a slash sized, so I was just going to replicate that. Anyway, so let me know your thoughts, peeps. If you like it, subscribe. Thank you. I apologise, I've forgotten your name, mate, but I got a new subscriber the other day, so awesome. Thank you. You've got lots coming, mate. It's going to be a busy year this year. Anyway, so alright, thank you very much, peep time. Goodbye.